At the funeral, the dog suddenly rushed to the coffin, crying and howling in pain, as if trying to wake his old master. He knew his owner was inside. 3 days earlier, Jack and his military dog, Mike, were on patrol. As they led the team, Mike suddenly stopped. Jack immediately sensed danger and signaled the squad to halt. But Captain Danny insisted, saying they had a mission to complete. Reluctantly, Jack ordered Mike to move forward. Suddenly, an explosion shattered the silence. Jack threw himself toward Mike, trying to protect him from the blast. When he turned back, he called for Danny to cover him. But Danny, like a coward, was hiding behind the line, frozen in fear. By the time the other soldiers rushed forward, it was already too late. Jack was gone. Mike barked furiously at Danny, as if he knew Danny's cowardice had cost Jack his life. Danny raised his gun, ready to kill the furious dog, but the others stopped him just in time. After the funeral, Mike refused to leave. Losing his master, he developed symptoms of post-traumatic stress, becoming violent and unapproachable. The military decided to retire him and arrange for his disposal. But strangely, Mike was calm and gentle around David, Jack's younger brother. Maybe he sensed something familiar in David, a trace of his beloved master, so the family decided to adopt him. Still, the father was cautious and kept Mike tied up in the yard. That night, missing his master too much, Mike howled endlessly. No one in the house could sleep. David finally went outside to comfort him, but each time David left, Mike howled again. So David sat beside him and soon fell asleep there. Seeing David asleep, Mike lay down next to him, keeping watch. A soldier, still on duty. The next day, Danny came to their house. He claimed he'd been injured. That shrapnel in his body made him unfit for service. But that was a lie. The military had already found out the truth. Danny had betrayed his team and was involved in arms smuggling. He'd been dishonorably discharged. David's mother, unaware of this, welcomed him warmly. She believed he had been her older son's best friend and thought seeing him would make Mike happy. But when Mike saw Danny, he broke free from the leash and charged at him in rage. Fortunately, David managed to stop him in time. Still, the father's trust in Mike was gone. He bought a cage and locked the dog inside. The next day, a ceremony was held to honor fallen heroes, those who had served bravely and returned wounded. That night, fireworks lit up the sky. Hearing the explosions, David suddenly ran back home. Inside, Mike was trembling, whining in terror. Those sounds were the same ones he'd heard when Jack was killed. David crawled into the cage, gently petting Mike to calm him. Gradually, Mike relaxed, resting his head in David's arms. It wasn't the sound he feared, it was the memory. That sound always brought him back to the moment he lost his master, a moment no one else could ever understand. The next day, Danny returned again. This time, he spoke with David's father. He lied, saying Jack died because of Mike, that the dog panicked at the sound of the explosion, and Jack died trying to save him. Enraged, the father stormed home, ready to kill Mike. Luckily, David stepped in, stopping him. Furious, the father warned David, if the dog made one more mistake, he'd have it put down. But David refused to believe that Mike was the reason his brother died. The next day, David secretly followed Danny and discovered that he was meeting with men involved in an illegal arms deal. Unfortunately, 2 vicious guard dogs spotted him. To protect David, Mike stepped forward, facing them alone. Then, seizing a chance, he drew the dogs away from David. Meanwhile, David was speeding on his bike, but lost control and damaged the wheel. He had no choice but to abandon the bicycle. Luckily, Mike was a battle-hardened dog. With his training and instincts, he quickly took down both of the attacking dogs. When they finally returned home, Danny was already there, and he falsely accused Mike of attacking his men. He even used David's broken bicycle as evidence. Then Danny called David into a room, threatening him not to tell anyone what had happened. He warned, either you get rid of that dog, or your family will be the one that dies. Terrified and helpless, David agreed. Poor Mike once again lost his home and his family. He was taken to a shelter, scheduled for euthanasia. But what no one knew was that Mike wasn't just any dog. He was a trained military canine. Sensing danger, he began to fight back with all his strength. No one could stop him. He was determined to avenge his fallen master and to protect his new one. That night, David's father noticed his son acting strangely. Though David said nothing, the old soldier in him sensed something was wrong. He went to Danny's warehouse to investigate and caught them in the middle of moving weapons. When he demanded to see what was inside the crates, Danny's men quickly overpowered him. Back home, David's mother realized she had lost contact with her husband. Just then, Mike suddenly returned home. Overjoyed, David and his friend grabbed Mike and rushed to find his father. At the warehouse, they found his father's holster on the ground. David let Mike sniff it, then told him to lead the way. Following the scent, Mike tracked their car, but the people were gone. Then he caught another familiar scent, the smell of those same vicious dogs. They continued tracking through the woods, until, by dawn, they finally found the captor's vehicle. David's father was being held inside. The kids decided the girl should run back for help. But moments after she left, a phone rang, and the guard dogs charged at them. Mike leapt forward to fight, but the other dog was much larger. Still, Mike used his smarts, luring the beast away. Mike's speed and endurance were far greater, and before long, the other dog was exhausted. Mike seized the moment, lunged forward, and sent the enemy tumbling down the hillside. At the same time, David's father managed to overpower one of his captors, grab a weapon, and rush to find his son. But just as he turned a corner, he saw Mike charging straight toward him, in full attack mode. He raised his gun to defend himself, but Mike wasn't coming for him. He was aiming for the man sneaking sneaking up behind him, Mike took the attacker down, and the family was finally reunited. However, David's father was injured and could barely move. They couldn't outrun Danny's men or their vehicle. So David made a brave decision. He and Mike would draw the pursuers away, buying time for his father to escape. Eventually, Danny caught up with them. He slapped David hard across the face. "If it weren't for you," he snarled, "I'd be rich right now." As Danny lost control and raised his gun, Mike appeared once more. Danny turned, aiming his weapon at the dog, but David kicked him hard, and at that instant, Mike lunged. The two, man and dog, fell off the edge together. When it was over, Mike was badly hurt, but alive. Later, David brought him to Jack's grave. Standing before his brother's tombstone, he whispered, "Even though you can't be here to watch me grow up, thank you for leaving me, Mike." When they returned home, David noticed the cage was gone. His father, finally understanding the truth, had allowed Mike to live freely inside the house. And at last, the family could live happily together again. Follow me for more incredible movie stories.